people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
I just love it, man. I love everything about this. I love the stage. I love the action.
He says he loves the action. He loves the action so much he hasn't fought in 2 years, but that's neither here nor there.
Main event.
Crazy, I know.
Unfortunately, the title will not be on the line, but his pride will be, and that's good enough for me.
Any response, Tim?
Mark my words, I will knock you out in under 12 rounds.
Fuck yeah.
You can try, my man. You can try, but you're going to get more than energy. You're going to get these hands, baby.
What the fuck?
All up in your face.
Catching you like a little gazelle.
Your fat feet slow. Man, look. In Australia, that's a small little, that's an island.
It's a continent.
Very far away. I did not know flat-footed Mexicans were born in Australia. Tszyu.
A remnant of the Mayweather era, how he used to refer to Mexican fighters as being flat-footed.
Mexican Tszyu, what you gonna do?
In the Mayweather era, you started seeing a lot of Mexican fighters referred to as being flat-footed because they didn't spend entire rounds darting around the ring pretending that the sport of boxing were a game of freeze tag.
I got a Mexican style.
Mexican Tszyu, what you gonna do?
I got a Mexican style, but Mexican styles are one of the greatest styles in the world, so don't be disrespecting Mexican styles.
Inadvertently or otherwise, Tszyu made himself a lot of Mexican fans by deciding to go up to bat for Mexican boxing and Mexican boxers as Keith Thurman did his best impersonation of Floyd Mayweather.
I ain't lost to no Mexican. Do your research. Watch more tape.
Don't be running.
Watch more tape if you want to debate.
Keith was particularly cringeworthy during the kickoff press conference for this fight. He comes off like a parody of a preacher in a Tyler Perry movie.
I've not lost to no flat-footed, slow
Don't be running
Mexicans, okay?
Don't be running like a gazelle.
You just want me to stand there?
Don't be
Please
running.
Please let me beat you up, Keith.
Let's go.
Please let me beat you up.
Middle of
Can
the
I
ring.
punch you in the face?
Okay, middle of the
Can
ring.
I punch you? Please.
Middle of the ring.
I'll be
go.
right there, baby.
All right.
I'll be right there.
Deal.
I won't be hard to find.
I don't put nothing past nobody. And I don't put nothing past the used car salesman that Keith Thurman is here today, doing his best impersonation of Floyd Mayweather, taking a shot at Mexican boxers and Mexican boxing for no reason. That stood out to me. Could it be deliberate? A ploy to get Mexican fans to buy this fight as he plays the heel to rally behind Tszyu, who went up to bat for Mexican boxing and Mexican boxers. That even if the two guys in the main event are not of Mexican descent, the PBC is still relying on the Mexican dollar to make this event successful, as the Mexican fight fan is the most important and the most influential fight fan among fight fans in the American market here today. Nobody spends money on boxing like the Mexican fans do. That's why Canelo is so popular. That's why he's so successful. And this whole back and forth could have been a ploy to get at that Mexican dollar by making this about Mexican honor, Mexican boxing, even if the two guys in the main event ain't Mexican.
What's he telling you, and what'd you tell him back?
He was just saying that he's faced it all, but I just told him I'm going to make him squeal. And mark my words, he will be squealing in the ring.
Why do you feel that? I know you're confident in yourself, your skills, your style, but what's there in Thurman that you look at him and you think, I'm knocking this guy out, and like you said, I'm going to make him squeal?
Me. I see, I think he's great, he's achieved great, but that's the past. This is the present, you know, and I am just levels above him. I know that for facts.
Tszyu doesn't have the gift of gab that Keith Thurman has. He's not as big a trash talker. But then again, Daniel Dubois wasn't as big a trash talker as Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller, he's got a silver tongue. he's a talented trash talker. In the end, the trash talk didn't matter, did it?
It didn't.
Daniel Dubois beat him, and I think Tim Tszyu, in spite of him not being a trash talker, he's gonna beat Keith Thurman, because it's not 2017.
And America's affinity for trash talkers is skewed in this modern day and age, this modern era of boxing. Oh, Americans still like trash talkers.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
But the idea was that you back up the talk, and I don't think Keith can. Not off of 2 years of inactivity.
Not today, and not at middleweight, because that is where this contest is taking place. It's taking place at middleweight, even if it's just a pound above junior middleweight at a contracted weight of 155. Anything north of 154, that's middleweight. Keith Thurman has never fought there.
This isn't even for a title. This is Keith Thurman cashing out, and we all know it. The writing is on the wall.
Keith is the more experienced fighter of the two, in a way, though he's in no way, shape, or form as active as Tim Tszyu. He doesn't have Tim Tszyu's momentum, youth, sharpness.
His best attribute going into this fight, well, it's not power. It's been close to a decade since Keith Thurman racked up a knockout of any kind. No, it's not power. It's movement. It's mobility.
He can make himself a moving target to try and set traps. The problem with that is setting traps is reliant on not just mobility, but speed and reflexes, and I suspect that Keith Thurman's may be shot. After 2 years of inactivity in his mid-30s, he may not have the snap on his shots to get Tim Tszyu's respect, and let's be honest, Keith Thurman won't be the first moving target or freeze tag fighter that Tim Tszyu will have shared the ring with. Terrell Gausha, Tony Harrison. They like to make themselves moving targets too, and in the end, Tim dominated them, and he's going to dominate Keith.
I think he's going to stop him. I think he's going to knock him out. I think it could be a body shot that does him in, because Keith don't like it to the body.
Nobody likes it to the body, but Keith Thurman especially.
Today, I canceled my Amazon Prime subscription today. I had stock in Amazon as well. I sold my shares today after I heard this news. I mean, what are we doing? Amazon, you're supposed to be building boxing. You turned it right down again with these type of matchups. Like, whoever's in charge over there, y'all don't know what y'all doing. Y'all don't understand this business at all, because you put a fighter that hasn't been in the ring, hasn't fought at 154 pounds to begin with, first of all. But anyhow, I'm pretty sure a lot of fans out there is going to buy this mess. I'm letting y'all know right now, I'm not buying it. It's a terrible matchup. It's a mismatch. Keith Thurman's going to get knocked out, and he's going to get knocked out with a body shot.
Great minds think alike, because Timothy Bradley thinks the same thing that I think. Tim Tszyu is going to do Keith Thurman. He's going to do him. He's probably going to do him with a body shot, putting pressure on that guy, but we've already talked about that. In Timothy Bradley's opinion, the people at Amazon don't know what they're doing. How could you bill a fight like this as a pay-per-view with an inactive Keith Thurman in his mid-30s in the main event? I mean, where is the marketing arm of Amazon in all of this? Because I was under the impression that the benefit of the PBC going to Amazon as opposed to DAZN, who was interested in picking them up when news broke late last year that Showtime would be leaving boxing. I thought the benefit of going to Amazon instead of DAZN is that the marketing arm of Amazon reaches more American homes, and yet I've seen not so much as a blip from Amazon about this fight. The kickoff press conference wasn't even on the Amazon platform. It was on YouTube via the PBC's YouTube page. Where is Amazon in all of this?
When the deal between them was forged, you saw an account for PBC on Amazon. To date, there's been next to no activity on that Twitter account.
That's not encouraging, and I feel like this entire fiasco is another instance of the PBC cutting off their nose to spite their face. That they'll do that, they'll take a worse deal over a better one because they're too prideful, when you consider that if they would have went with DAZN, this fight, this card, likely would have got more promotion, more marketing to more boxing fans, because people aren't subscribed to Amazon for boxing. Even though it's a much bigger platform with many more subscribers than DAZN, most people that are subscribed to Amazon, they're not there for boxing, whereas most of the people subscribed to DAZN, most of them, they are there for boxing. They are there for sports. So you're reaching the eyes and ears that you need to reach. The sports fans, the boxing fans.
But they didn't want to go to DAZN. They didn't want to go to the zone. They didn't want to work with them. And all I see is you're cutting off your nose despite your face.
How many times now have you seen the PBC or a PBC fighter turn down a better deal for a worse one?
He had a shitty offer from that other situation, so this is actually the better fight.
I'm gonna tell you like this. The only time Ryan ever made money is when he fought over here on PBC with Al Heyman. Al Heyman, it's like what Drake said, Al Heyman checks out for all of my events, right? They can fucking kiss. Al Heyman gave me a way better deal, that's all I say.
I'm not thinking about Ryan Garcia. This is all about Rolly versus Pitbull. This is the Rolly show.
Nobody cares about them, they blew their chance.
Their chance at what? Rolly Romero, in all likelihood, is going to lose his title in the co-main event. Not even the main event. You're not headlining, and you expect people to believe that you're going to make more money in the co-main event, the chief support, than you could have made in the main event with Ryan. Yeah, I don't believe you. I think you're just towing the company line.
I think it's either Rolly is brainwashed or he doesn't have the autonomy to make his own decisions anyway. His decisions are made for him based on whatever he agreed to when he first inked the deal with the PBC.
Leonard Ellaby could barely hold back his laughter when he said that this is the Rolly show, when in reality, it's not the Rolly show. It's not Rolly or Isaac in the main event. It's Tszyu and Keith Thurman. And what exactly do you think that's going to sell in the American market? What, 150,000 pay-per-view buys? 250 if you're lucky, whereas Rolly versus Ryan would have sold much more than that.
You cut off your nose despite your face. You're pretending you took a better deal. You didn't.
Kinda like how the people at the PBC and the PBC's supporters are pretending that the Amazon deal is better than the DAZN deal would have been. With DAZN, you would have got a budget.
Yeah, they would have, but at DAZN, I don't think they would have allowed them to bill this as a pay-per-view. That's what Al Heyman doesn't want. He doesn't want anyone overseeing what he's doing.
Quality control comes to mind. The DAZN platform are not going to allow you to gouge their subscribers to see a cart like this, and perhaps that's the reason that Al don't want to go into business with them.
Be too close to the competition too. Do you think he wants to be on the same platform as his competitors, Golden Boy, Matchroom? Trust me, he doesn't. The idea of more cross-promotional fights, he don't like that idea.
Never did. The only reason he made Wilder versus Fury was because he thought Wilder would knock out Fury. Only reason he made Gervonta versus Ryan is because he knew Ryan sucks.
Ryan is gullible. He agreed to a shitty deal.
Kid's a moron.
Rolly and Bullet not together. That's like Cagney and Lacey not together. That's like, I mean, this is way out. How is Rolly and Bullet not together, man? How'd that come about?
Well, a couple months ago, we had a little session in the ring, and he just didn't really want to listen. You know, or like I said, when you start having other people in your ear and they're trying to change you and change your style, change the dog in you, make you a pussycat, you know, it kind of like, after a while, it starts getting through. And one thing about me, I know how to train certain guys for their style and for their ability and for their experience, you know? So when I seen certain actions, it didn't take a conversation for me to say, you know what? This ain't finna work out. Because I'm not gonna be quiet. I'm not gonna back down. I'm not going to do none of that for nobody in this world. No matter boxing, real life, my family, I'm just me. You know what I'm saying? I got to be comfortable in my own skin.
Was there any conversation between yourself and Romero and Rolly in regards to him actually saying, hey, Bullet, I'm going to go in a different direction? Or did you hear from the grapevine?
No. It wasn't him. It's my decision.
Would seem that in some way, shape, or form, Rolly Romero has burned that bridge. The bridge with his longtime trainer, Coach Bullet, who I believe has been in his corner training him since the start of his professional boxing career. That the split is not an amicable split, and Rolly's developed somewhat of a reputation for doing this.
Screwing over people that are trying to help him.
Twitter user that goes by the name Superwoman Esquire said, because everyone walks away from Rolly. He's a shit human. How many times do I have to say this? And she would know because she actually sponsored Rolly Romero for a time.
She's an attorney. You know how boxers are always looking for sponsors to assist them financially in preparation for a fight camp?
She sponsored Rolly. And I don't know what Rolly did, but I do know she's got a nice ass.
What the hell does that have to do with anything?
Not sure. But what this revelation essentially means is that Rolly Romero may be going into the Isaac Cruz fight either experimenting with a new trainer, attempting to adopt a new style, or he may not go with anyone at all. You know, maybe he just wanted less hands on deck, less hands in the cookie jar so that he can keep more of his money, whatever money he stands to make from this fight. But I don't think this is the fight where you go experimenting with a new trainer or training without one.
I believe it was Chris Eubank Jr. who was doing that for a while. He didn't really have a trainer for a while, for a long time. Then he got up with Roy, then he sacked Roy and traded him for Brian McIntyre.
I don't know who's training Rolly for this fight. That news hasn't broken yet. The only news that is broken is that he's not with Coach Bullet anymore, though in truth, it's much ado about nothing because Coach Bullet or no Coach Bullet, I thought Isaac was going to knock him out anyway. Isaac and Rolly are both limited fighters. They both are. But Isaac is a little bit more put together than Rolly Romero. It takes a certain level of boxing acumen to deal with a pressure guy, a pressure fighter like an Isaac Cruz. And I'm not convinced Rolly has the ingredients, the defensive prowess, or the durability. That Rolly, he's a little bit more fragile than Isaac. Isaac went 12 with Gervonta, whereas Gervonta, he knocked Rolly out.
Isaac might knock Rolly out, and I already thought that before this news broke. Now, I really think Isaac's gonna knock him out because this ain't the fight where you go experimenting with a new trainer or a new style.
Title, WBA title, is better off in the hands of Isaac Cruz. He's a bit more marketable than Rolly. He is a Mexican national, and a highlight reel knockout over Rolly Romero might help to galvanize the Mexican boxing fans to get behind him, which could lead potentially to a Gervonta Davis rematch at 140 pounds for Isaac's 140-pound title. That may be the end game here, even if Rolly doesn't realize it.
No, not in Rolly's opinion. You heard him. He thinks he got a better deal.
We'll see if he still feels that way after Isaac knocks him out, when he doesn't have that bargaining chip, that small bit of bargaining power that he had to bring to the table for a Ryan Garcia fight, which would have been bigger than this fight. You're about to let Isaac take that from you. I hope you understand that.
That fucking idiot doesn't understand anything.
Simple, really. I always figured that sooner or later we were going to get a Cruz versus Davis rematch, and this fight with Rolly seems to me to be a segue to that, so long as Isaac can get the job done, and as limited as he is, I think he can.
Rolly's terrible. He's awful. Coach Bullet or no Coach Bullet.
I don't think it would have made a difference if he was in his corner anyway. He's getting knocked out.